welcome to the Future of Business. This is episode 1, and I'm talking about NFTs. Specifically, are NFTs worth the hype? But before I get into that, I've been asked to read the following disclaimer by my legal counsel. This episode has been made solely for informational purposes on business trends and does not provide any financial advice. None of the information is intended to be used to form the basis for any kind of financial objectives. And now let's continue with the episode. Boom! NFTs exploded on the scene last year, and in some places there was a lot of love, and in others a lot of distrust, but overall there was a lot of controversy. In this episode, I deconstruct the business trends, dive into these controversies, and zero in on where the business opportunities are. Let's go. First, let's take a look at the numbers. Last year, NFTs grew to over a $40 billion market. To put that in perspective, that's over 150 times the size of the market for NFTs in 2020. That's pretty incredible. If we take a look at OpenSea's monthly volumes last year, and OpenSea is the largest NFT marketplace, we can see that right around the middle of last year, they started seeing multi-billion-dollar months, and this continued to the end of the year. Coming into 2022, just in January, last month, OpenSea saw $5 billion in transactions. That's a new record. To put that in perspective, the global fine art market, which is centuries old, is about $50 billion, and NFTs grew to almost the same size in 1 year. That's pretty spectacular. So with all this discussion about NFTs, what is an NFT? Well, an NFT, or non-fungible token, can be thought of as a proof of ownership of a unique or rare digital item. The NFT, using a smart contract, is minted to a blockchain, and that blockchain record points to a digital asset and some metadata. That metadata is basically information about the digital asset. The digital asset and metadata can also be stored on the blockchain, but usually because they're quite large, they're stored instead in a decentralized storage network like IPFS. So you might be thinking, well, crypto is minted on a blockchain and its transactions are recorded there. So what's the difference between crypto and an NFT? Well, if you think about a cryptocurrency like Ethereum, all of the different tokens are interchangeable. They're basically the same. These tokens are fungible, but with an NFT, by definition, they're unique. They're not interchangeable and they're non-fungible. So as a result, they make a very good foundation for being individually owned, right? So this can form the foundation for ownership of digital assets and digital items online. That's pretty transformative and pretty incredible. So have we seen NFTs before? Well, if we go back to 2017, you might remember that there was this game called CryptoKitties where they were selling NFT virtual cats. And this actually turned into a craze, and a craze so much that the Ethereum blockchain was clogged up with transactions and slowed down. Ethereum wasn't very scalable at the time, and so it was actually there was a sense that it might become destabilized. And so people had to back off, and this trend around NFTs kind of fizzled out and faded away. If we fast forward to 2021, there have actually been quite a few scaling solutions for the Ethereum blockchain released over the last couple of years. And so when the NFT craze happened this time, it was actually supportable and supported by the now more scalable Ethereum blockchain. So not surprisingly, the team behind CryptoKitties, Dapper Labs, And OpenSea, which is this marketplace that was inspired by CryptoKitties to create, a place where people could buy and sell NFTs, now both sport mega billion-dollar valuations and raised hundreds of millions of dollars each last year from investors. So let's switch gears and take a look at who's in the ecosystem. So companies are in, and they've made quite a lot of public announcements about NFTs. So, if we look across, these different logos, we can see a lot of consumer brands, from fashion to sports and sportswear to media and entertainment, fine art, and others. So really, what are these different companies doing? Well, they have different business objectives, and so they're doing different things with NFTs. In some cases, they're growing community. In others, they're doing drops. In other places, they're building infrastructure, or they're supporting others in the ecosystem with capabilities. So there's a whole range of different things that companies are doing with NFTs. Who else is in this ecosystem? Well, celebrities are in the ecosystem too. You might have seen or heard some of them promoting different projects. Some of them are joining different NFT collections and clubs, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which has become quite popular and is very exclusive because it's very expensive to buy the NFTs and get into it. Others are building platforms, or they're, promoting different people or investing into the NFT ecosystem. So lots happening with celebrities as well. Well, who else is in? Well, creators are in too. They're on social media, they're promoting drops and collections, building community, building brand. They're having a new sense of freedom around the ability to create new business models and new pricing for different things that they're selling or promoting. So very active. So now I'd like to talk about one of the controversies, because ownership is really important. And so one of the memes that's out there is that, people say, well, can I just right click on an NFT to own it? Well, the simple answer is no. And here's an illustration. Here's an example which illustrates that. So, a lot of people own a house and a car. And so let's say that somebody takes a picture of your house, your car, or you have a picture of them online, and they click on them and download and save them on their phone or their laptop. Do they now own your house or your car? Well, the simple answer is no. And the reason is because they're lacking very important documents. For a house, ownership comes from a title deed. And for a car, ownership comes with a certificate of title. And if you own these assets, then your name is in these documents. And so the documents convey ownership, not the pictures. It's the same with an NFT. With an NFT, the digital asset is linked to the NFT, which is stored on the blockchain. And the blockchain indicates where the NFT is, who owns that NFT, and that comes from the digital wallet that it's linked to. So a person owns that digital wallet, and that's the owner of the NFT, which is therefore the owner of the digital asset. So it has nothing to do from an ownership standpoint with the picture. It has everything to do with the information that is on the blockchain. And the exciting thing about blockchain information for public permissionless networks is that it is available 24/7 and anybody can access it. As important, this information is also immutable, which means it's unchangeable. And this means that it will stay the same until someone goes and sells it to someone else, and then there's a new owner, and then that information will be available on the blockchain. So this is how you build the foundation for ownership of digital items and digital assets online using blockchain technology. So there's another controversy, and that has to do with climate change and with carbon. And some people are saying that NFTs are a carbon bomb and they're destroying the planet. So is this true? Well, let's take a look. For public permissionless blockchains, there's usually two different kinds of consensus mechanisms. One is called proof of work, and that is very energy intensive. The other is proof of stake, and it tends to be much less energy intensive, as much as 99% less energy intensive, and so a lot less carbon. Some of these networks, like Solana or Polygon or Tezos, have not only shown that they have very small carbon footprints. So for example, Solana has come out and indicated that one transaction is equal to the carbon from 2 Google searches, but they've gone one step further and become carbon neutral networks. So Solana and Polygon are now indicating that there is no net carbon from transacting on these blockchains, which means that if you mint NFTs on these blockchains, they are net zero carbon. That's less carbon than clicking around online or using your phone. So there's no contradiction in saying that they're eco-friendly. In the bigger picture, Ethereum, which is currently using proof of work, is moving to proof of stake. And that's the ETH2 migration, and that's going to happen in the next 12 to 18 months. And then the majority of all NFTs will be low carbon. So at worst, this is a near-term problem, but if you do it right, you can have low carbon or no carbon NFTs today. So where's the business opportunity? Well, NFTs at heart are new revenue channels. They're new types of customer engagement, new kinds of brand engagement. They're new ways to build one-to-one community for the first time, because when you have, access to, somebody's digital wallet, in essence who you're interacting with. And so you can build that community individual by individual, not just a group of fans. Also, a lot of people who are in the ecosystem are digital natives, and these tend to be millennials and Gen Z. And this is a very coveted demographic. So if you want to access these demographics, this NFTs can be a very good way. But more importantly, NFTs are really tokenization of everything. So anything that you can think of, both online and offline, can be tokenized, turned into an NFT, and then owned and bought, sold, traded, etc. So this could be not just art and music, but it could be, the title for a house or a car. It could be health records. It could be a whole range of things. So this really is very transformative and is the foundation for a real revolution in ownership online. So let's take a look at some of these projects. Well, Michael Jordan's Air and Gap's project, and Adidas and their partnership with Prada and Cameo and others, if you take a look at the fine print, they're basically putting out collections, and then people can buy into these collections by purchasing an NFT, and they join a community. And then their digital wallets get linked in to these communities, and it's not a picture that, gives ownership that then you relate to in this community. It's the brand interacting with you directly through the information that's on the blockchain. And by having this NFT, you get access to special, perks, benefits that other people don't have who aren't part of the community. And these could be digital goods, immersive experiences, one-on-one kinds of things that could happen in these communities. So if you're in the entrepreneurial community, like I am here in Silicon Valley, you might ask, well, what's happening in the investor and entrepreneur side? Well, there's billions of dollars that has gone into projects already. And, there are people building infrastructure and platforms and applications and multiple verticals. There's a lot of opportunities in this area of Web3. So if you're an entrepreneur, check it out. It could be quite interesting. So I hope that this presentation and this episode has helped you to gain a better understanding of NFT and has answered some of your pressing questions. But keep in mind that NFTs are really a building block for something even bigger. And that's a new version of the web, and that's called the metaverse. And the metaverse is going to have a lot of different assets and items within it that you'll be able to interact with. And in many cases, these will most likely be NFTs. So if you want to learn more about the metaverse, come back here for episode 2 and stay ahead of the trends with the future of business and stay ahead of the business opportunities right here. I look forward to seeing you next time here on the Future of Business.